Recently, a Missouri man had the police called on him for basically dining while black. Now, the man's name is Terrence Dickerson, and what happened is it was his birthday. And so for his birthday, he decided to make reservations for him and 30 of his friends and relatives at the Blue Sky Tower Grill in Richmond Heights. So now he gets his friends together for, a big party, birthday party. And look, the complaints against him wasn't that they were being loud, but that they were afraid that this party wasn't going to pay their bill. Now, Dickerson said that he had signed a contract reserving the party space at the restaurant and had a written agreement with them, saying that guests would be able to pay for their own food and drink on separate checks. Now, part of that agreement also involved the waitress, who would be able to collect a 20% gratuity on each separate bill. So that's great. If you're a waitress in that area, 30 people, and you have the possibility of all getting 20% tips from all of them, oh, that's fantastic. Because nothing would be more annoying than, of course, having a small tip while serving 30 people. So it's actually a really good deal for the waitress. Yet, for some reason, the waitress, not great. Now, what proof do you have, of course, of this deal? Well, he showed a local TV station an email that showed that arrangement. However, the trouble started when the waitress refused to serve the group because she felt overwhelmed by that large party, in her words. However, I do think it's because I don't think these people are going to tip me. That's what I'm assuming. So look, okay, if you're not comfortable with serving that table, then okay, well, maybe you should go and maybe they should give you a different waitress. But that's not what happened. Apparently, the waitress had complained to the owners and the rest of the staff, and they ended up calling the police. In fact, according to Dickerson, she left and never came back. The next message we get is the police want you to leave. Why? Why would the cops suddenly want to get involved? Police said that they were called at 8:20 p.m. for a possible disturbance at a restaurant, and they sent 7 to 8 officers to investigate. 7 or 8 officers sent to that restaurant for that party. Are you kidding? Well, of course, they heard that it was a large group of black people that are disrupting a peace, so I guess they had to bring an army of officers. Thankfully, of course, the cops quickly found out that black people weren't doing anything wrong. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got in trouble. But still, they ended up having to leave the restaurant for some odd reason. Now, according to Police Chief Doug Schaeffler, who was the Richmond Heights Police Chief, he said, "We quickly found out that it was not a disturbance. Just a misunderstanding over how the group would be billed. If it would be one check or an individual check. But it wouldn't be. You're absolutely wrong. They already had a pre-written agreement, and they could show you that agreement. It is written in an email. Nonetheless, they're like, no, we completely disregard this deal. The owners did, the restaurant did, and said, we're not going to honor it. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to make you pay everything as you leave. We're going to line you up with the cops, single file, to make sure that you pay your bill." Ridiculous. Dickerson told the police station that he believes the restaurant assumed that he and his guests would not pay the bill because they're black. And he was very embarrassed that they were forced to line up in single file and pay before they were escorted out by the cops. That is deeply embarrassing. That is deeply disrespectful. But look, that's how this restaurant treated their guests, as if they are criminals because of the color of their skin. Friend Houghton Nelson said, quote, "This was very embarrassing. Police told everybody we had to go upstairs because it was a bad look on the place." So wait, you're saying that 30 black people having a birthday dinner somehow look bad on the place because they're what, black? That's what's going on here. Now, Hofton Nelson continues. He said, I told him the fact that we have a black party of 30. We have a contract to be up here. It looks bad because you have 8 police officers here and no laws are being broken. Look, guys, again, this is frustrating because white people keep calling the cops on black people for things that are not crimes. Fellow white people, you got to stop this. I mean, really? This wasn't a dispute about how they're going to pay. They had clearance ahead of time. They had an agreement. And that arrangement was broken by the restaurant. But, look, what happened was it's all about the assumptions, right? So the restaurant and the server sees these guys, oh, they're black. They're either criminal or they're not going to pay their bills, so we're not going to serve them. And the waitress herself, I'm assuming, assumed that they weren't going to pay because, or weren't going to tip because they're black. You know who the worst tippers are? I'm assuming, without evidence, and at least I'm fair at admitting that, unlike Tucker Carlson, who went into his own bizarre rant about progressives being terrible tippers. No, I think evangelicals are probably the worst tippers. Whoever the people that end up taking those fake $20 bills and using those as tips, the ones with Bible quotes and Jesus on them. Yeah, those guys, those are the worst tippers in the world. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.